Hi, everybody. So I'm Tori Mortensen. I'm your instructor for human-centered design in nuclear systems. This is probably going to be the first or maybe last time you'll see me. We're kind of in the middle of getting some things ready to make this office more functional, but and nobody wants to see that anyway. So thanks for watching and for attending the class. I think it'll be a lot of fun. I'm going to go ahead and start. I'm going to share this PowerPoint here, and we'll be going through the kind of just intro, stuff about me, stuff about the class, and things that might be relevant for you. Hopefully everybody can see this. I guess I'll go back and verify it after. So yeah, it's human-centered design for nuclear systems. A little bit about me. I got my bachelor's in philosophy at ISU, Idaho State University, when, I don't know, 2014 probably. My focus was on philosophy of mind and ethics. My final thesis was an economic, looking at economic ethics from a Kantian perspective, questions like, is there such thing as a moral minimum wage and those things. I then got a master's in human factors from University of Idaho, and I'm currently enrolled in a PhD program at University of Idaho down here with Lee Ostrom in biological engineering. We're focusing on human reliability analysis and cognitive modeling, so dynamic human reliability analysis and modeling human error and those kind of things. I am a human factors and reliability scientist at the Idaho National Lab. Prior to that, I was a performance analyst out at MFC, or the Materials and Fuels Complex. I essentially helped with corrective actions, condition reports and monitoring, management system monitoring, and those kind of things. For that, I was in logistics here at the INL. I put in this list of jobs that I've had because my current department manager, Dr. Ron Boring, always likes to say that I always have a story about some new jobs that I'd had sometime in my past. So he thinks I've had 100 jobs, and I have had a lot of jobs. So there's some of those there. So sometimes you'll hear me talk about different stories or examples that seem to come from out of nowhere. I have 3 daughters. My daughter and my stepdaughter are both 12, and then we have a 4-year-old. And my wife and I met in 1st grade, and we dated in 5th, which she then unceremoniously dumped me. So a fact I never let her forget. Some hobbies, and fun facts, which I can't go back now. Oh yeah, I can, cool. So let's see, I play a lot of video games. Before the pandemic, I played D&D a lot, have for many years. Woodworking has become a thing since we're all trapped. I've always kind of messed around with computers, servers, different things like that. At some point, I'm going to be building a media server here for all of our home media stuff. And I generally am an introvert. I try to avoid people and go outside, or not go outside too much. If you look at my jobs that are here, going back one, you'll see that I spent a lot of time in sales and in people-facing industries, so I kind of got sick of that. That go away thing there is actually the doormat that is in the front of my house. I can generally expect that I need a nap at any given moment in time. I can still do a cartwheel, though last time I did, I think I needed some medical attention. My top 3 movies are The Dark Knight, Inception, and Pacific Rim. I don't necessarily have a fondness for Christopher Nolan. I just think that's the way it ended up. And these are my favorite ones. They're not necessarily the best movies ever. Here's a list of things that I hate. Jared Leto, Jake Gyllenhaal, tomatoes and applesauce. Fun fact about those. I like most, if not all, processed forms of tomatoes, but I don't like raw tomatoes. And the inverse is true for apples. I like raw apples, but I hate all processed forms of apples. I hate spiders, U2, Coldplay, and unnecessarily formality. I just saw this Twitter thread the other day about somebody complaining that their students don't use formalisms in their emails to them. That is absurd and ridiculous, in my opinion, but do what makes you comfortable, I guess. I tend to collect books. I have a lot of tools, neuroses, bad jokes, and annoyances. The goal of this class is to give you an overview of human factors and just generally how humans perform in various situations and the role that design plays into human success or failure. And in general, I would say, and then in the nuclear industry in particular. So there will be a lot of general human factors or design ideas that then we're going to talk about within nuclear process control, risk significant industries. Nuclear experience isn't required or even necessarily preferred. I say that because nuclear, if you've been in it a long time, has a tendency to calcify or solidify some of your thinking within that paradigm, and that's not necessary and can be a hindrance in design activities. So our focus, like I just said, will be focusing on the people and on the design and then bringing it to nuclear versus starting with nuclear and going out. Assignment grading things, as one of my favorite philosophy professors used to say, for better or worse, one of my tasks here is to assign you a grade. So there's three big categories: Slack discussions and participation. Because it's an online course, I did a lot of my master's online or via distance because I stayed down here in Idaho Falls versus going up to Moscow. So Slack was really handy in a couple of the classes that used it, and I found we were really engaged. So the goal here is just to stay engaged, primarily. Midterm projects, I put on here for midterm and final various formats. That's because when I started my master's, as an example, in human factors, I had to use PowerPoint for the first time since like 10th grade. And I still to this day despise PowerPoint as a means of communicating and everything, but it's kind of the best one for these kind of formats. So, but if you are like-minded and don't want to do a PowerPoint presentation or record yourself giving one or whatever, that's totally fine. You can do a write-up, or there's a lot of other ways to communicate a design ability versus just a PowerPoint presentation or a slide deck. So we can talk about that as you want. Most of the assignments, we can, I'm still waiting for clarification on if I have to have you submit things through BBLearn. I might, I don't know. But in the classes that I do Slack before, we would post our assignments actually directly in Slack. It supports that fairly well. So then we can, and then it gives you each thread where people can talk about your project or whatever. So get a hold of me in the next few weeks about what you maybe want to do for your midterm, I guess. For the final, that can be down the road. And just kind of what your ideas are. Possible group projects. So I don't think we have that many students, and I think there's a handful at Moscow and then a handful kind of scattered. So online technology really simplifies doing group projects, I think. But if there's any preference, if you guys want to do one, I mean, I've thought about coming up with one where I assign you all roles in a design task, and essentially you have to execute that task over the semester. Somebody might be in charge of documentation or of UI or various things like that. That's something we can look at if you guys want. If you don't, that's okay. I was never a fan of group projects generally, but they do have their value. So your initial assignment kind of thing, just in the next few days, if you could just go on Slack and just kind of introduce yourself. So obviously your name will probably be on Slack, but if you want to check out, it's fine. Are you a grad student or undergrad? What field you're studying in? What's your academic background? I didn't list that here, but kind of what are you coming to this class with? What are you hoping to get out of it? And what do you want this class to give you in your broader life or career thing? Accommodations. So this is one I specifically wanted to point out and to put into the slide deck. There's a section in the syllabus for the ADA office and all those accommodations that the universities have. Definitely make use of those if you feel like you have a need of some of those accommodations. Outside of that, if there's something you need, just let me know and why. This is for stuff probably outside of those ADA kind of specific accommodation needs, but like, simple things, extensions, hey, this is going on or whatever, which flows into the next thing, which is this pandemic sucks and we're all stuck and it's hard on us in various physical, hopefully not physical, but hopefully everybody's staying healthy. but also just the mental aspects of this are really, really hard. So let me know if you're, hey, this is due and I'm just, a lot of things are going on Friday or whatever, you need extra time, or you want to do it. That's also why we're doing different formats for the midterms and those kind of things, so that you can kind of make it fit what you need. This hopefully will be the schedule that I'll try to stick with. So at the beginning of the week, sometime Monday, Tuesday, maybe, I'll send out a link on Slack to everybody with the video for the kind of theory or the main concepts that we're talking about. Then there will be a Slack discussion post. I'll post one every week. It'll probably be related to the topic, but not necessarily. And then post something of your own. This will help you kind of give back to that versus just necessarily responding to me. And it can be something as simple as something you noticed about a design task, or, hey, this is weird, a question for the group, or I put this last bullet on here, humorous bad design. That's always a fun thing to look at. Just make sure you explain why it's bad and what constraints might have led to that. Generally, people don't set out to design bad things. So why? What's the goal there? And then there'll be another week at the end debriefing kind of what those discussions were through the week. So, and I'm kicking around an idea of making this second meeting like or video a regular meeting that then, if it's a set time, I don't know if a set time will work for this class and for all you guys, but if that's something you guys are interested in, where, okay, this time on this day, the Zoom meeting's open, everybody can drop in if they want to participate, or it can just be me going through my thoughts. So again, let me know what you think about that. Because this is a human factors and design related course and you are the users of it, your opinion matters quite a bit on what it will become. And these are just some funny quotes or impactful quotes that I've experienced throughout my time designing things and just experiencing that. So, take these. I think, the second one is in my signature at work. I mean, these are just important things to keep in mind, in my opinion. And I think that's the end of that presentation. So thanks for watching. I look forward to seeing your guys' Slack posts. If anybody sees this and they don't have access to the Slack yet, let me know. I'm going to try to go in and verify that everybody on the course roster has access to it. But just in case, let me know. All right, thanks. See you guys.